So French newspaper Time France is with us on set. The hot topic of the day, as we were saying, is horse meat today,
Horse meat. It's on the front page of 20 Minutes today, which I think deserves an award for one of the best titles I've seen in a long time.
Corniest.
Stallion in your stomach, says 20 Minutes. So after this scandal has emerged that several retailers have withdrawn their frozen food after it emerged that some producers were selling horse meat as beef, 20 Minutes points out that the foreign minister, Laurent Fabius, has called for a widespread investigation into this.
Okay, and another big story which is in the front pages today. Aujourd'hui en France, you're looking at anger in French schools over missing teachers.
That's right. Now, this concerns French middle and high schools. And the reason people are angry is because a lot of teachers are not being replaced. And that's on the front page of Aujourd'hui en France today, le grand ras-le-bol. So people say enough is enough. And Aujourd'hui en France points out that it's been months now that certain teachers, especially in math and literature, have not been replaced. And according to Aujourd'hui en France, this has a lot to do with the fact that there's a real vocational crisis in France. So first of all, there aren't enough teachers. And on top of that, there aren't enough substitutes. Also, Aujourd'hui en France points out that the substitute system isn't very well organized. And there's this figure that they put forward, 2.2 million. That's the number of hours between 2009 and 2010, that number of hours that was not replaced. So a lot of parents are very desperate, and Aujourd'hui en France points out that some have gone so far as to take matters into their own hands. For instance, there's this man who put an ad on a website called Le Bon Coin, which is kind of like the French Craigslist, that says urgent, looking for a math teacher. So his son, who is in 6th grade, hasn't had math since September.
Wow.
So you might think, lucky him,
Yeah.
but his parents are concerned that he's going to fall back on his curriculum.
Well, it's kind of inevitable, isn't it? French schools, very much a hot topic these days. Tomorrow, this is worrying me because I didn't know about it until France told me, primary and nursery school teachers here in France going on strike.
That's right. Now, they're angry about another issue, and that is a government plan to extend the school week from 4 days to 4.5 days. And Libération, the left-leaning newspaper, interestingly, comes out against teachers and says, what about the students in all this? And Libération points out that, in fact, if you look at the statistics, France has the shortest week for children. And on top of that, according to the statistics, French children are lagging behind other European countries in their reading ability. So Libération isn't standing behind the teachers on this one. It does, however, point out what all this means for the education minister, Vincent Payon. And Libération points out that he's facing very tough opposition, not only from teachers, but from lobbyists as well. This whole timetable debate is just one part of a broader reform he's trying to put in place that would completely overhaul the education system. So Libération says that a lot of that, including his political future, is at stake over this debate.
And right-leaning Le Figaro, perhaps not surprisingly, looking at what this means for François Hollande.
That's right. Le Figaro says, Hollande rattrapé par la contestation sociale. So it seems like these social disputes are catching up with François Hollande. Le Figaro actually calls this week a boomerang week for François Hollande. This comes after he's been riding such a high after the French military intervention in Mali, which has been very well received in France. Well, according to Le Figaro, he's losing his upper hand. Le Figaro is pretty much excited about this. The right-leaning newspaper, they say he's getting what he's deserved. Inside, they say that Hollande has entered the truth zone during his presidential campaign. Hollande sowed social illusions, according to Le Figaro, and now he's harvesting a social storm.
Okay, finally, Richard III we had last week in Britain, but now another deceased European monarch is making a lot of noise, isn't he?
That's right. It's Henri IV, so Henry IV. We can take a look at the very first 3D reconstruction of what his head looks like on, there you see it right there. It's also on the front page of Le Figaro today. Now, this comes as a book is coming out this week about how his head was supposedly found in some old woman's attic. It had been handed down for generations.
His skull.
His skull, yeah, exactly. No, it's not the real head.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Florence, thank you very much. Flo Villemot with the French newspapers here on France 24. Do stay with us. The latest news coming up very shortly.